Breaking news to begin NFL Live, where the Commanders have added a key veteran. Adam Schefter with us here. Adam, what's the latest?
Laura, Stefon Diggs is going back home, sort of, where he went to college at Maryland. He's now going to be playing for the Washington Commanders. He's set to sign a one-year deal worth up to $12 million. He had been talking to the Commanders. That was the place that made the most sense all along. The Chiefs weighed in. The Dolphins weighed in, the Raiders weighed in, but the fact of the matter is the Commanders were a team that had a need, had an opening, and they've been able to get together with Stefon Diggs to carve out a one-year deal that will bring him to Washington to complement Terry McLaurin and make him the newest target for Jalen Daniels.
Yeah, I love this fit, especially for the quarterback. We'll dive into that, but the addition of Diggs provides Jalen Daniels with a reliable target. Diggs caught nearly 83% of the passes thrown his way last season, which led all wide receivers. The only players that averaged more yards per route than Diggs were Jackson Smith and Jigba and Puka Nacua. That's the type of company he's in. He would tell you, as he said recently, he's the best number 2 wideout you can find somewhere. He could figure in to be a major factor in this offense as we welcome you into the show. We got Hawk and Booger here, as well as Adam, for the rest of the hour. And Hawk, I'll start with you. What kind of impact do you think Diggs could have on this Commanders offense?
Tremendous impact. It immediately elevates the passing game in Washington. It right-sizes the entire receiving core where guys like Luke McCaffrey, Antonio Williams, Treylon Burks don't need to be relied upon as heavily with Diggs in the rotation. And then on top of that, I mean, Diggs brings versatility. You looked at those stats from a year ago. The reality is, yes, he's an older receiver, but he was coming off of an ACL tear. So I don't think people realize how probably understated how good Stefon Diggs was a year ago in New England. He still plays at a very high level, and the delta between him and Terry McLaurin as far as skill goes right now in their careers is razor thin, if at all. So it immediately gives them a reliable number 2 that could play at the level as their number 1 receiver.
Yeah, Hawk, and if he continues to improve from the ACL, you could argue he may wind up being a 1B to Terry McLaurin. And if you look at Jalen Daniels, he's got to be better this year. And how do you help your quarterback? You got to get him some more weapons. I truly think Terry McLaurin will be able to control the deep end of the field, and I think Stefon Diggs is going to be able to control that intermediate area right in front of the quarterback. And I think if you're looking at this team, the Commanders, and you're saying, hey, what does this team need to do? They need playmakers on the offensive side of the football, and I think this is a welcome addition. Jalen Daniels has got to be happy about that right now.
Well, Boog, you mentioned playmakers on the offensive side of the football, and one of the playmakers that was under consideration was Brandon Ayuk, who's currently under contract to the 49ers on the reserve list right now. He has yet to apply for reinstatement. And there were so many social media posts from him that those posts managed to dwindle the chances that he would wind up in Washington. And at one point when he was critical of Jalen Daniels and Jalen Daniels responded back, that then shifted the focus to Stefon Diggs and enabled him to get more involved in the picture to where eventually Diggs now gets done the deal that easily could have gone to Brandon Ayuk. And Brandon Ayuk certainly felt like or seemed like it was going his way for a while. But in the end, it's Diggs back in that area, and he now gets a chance to help elevate the Commanders' offense.
Yeah, the connection with Jalen Daniels and Brandon Ayuk goes back to college, right? But as Adam's telling you, that's not going to happen right now. Diggs, by the way, 1,000 receiving yards in 7 of the 8 last seasons. One of 2 players to do that, along with Mike Evans. This guy has been, as we're telling you, incredibly reliable.
Johnson, the Eagles' outstanding tackle, missed his 4th straight practice today due to a non-injury personal reason. The Eagles have not specified exactly what's going on, but everybody knows how important Lane Johnson is to Philadelphia, and hopefully from his standpoint, the team standpoint, everything is okay, and he will be back soon. And also, Mekhi Lemon, who has been battling a hamstring issue during the offseason, has missed some practice time recently with a similar hamstring issue. That has to be a little bit worrisome to the Philadelphia Eagles right now.
Yeah, Devontae Smith sitting out as well. We'll keep an eye on that for sure. One Eagle that was practicing at camp today, thanks to Adam, was quarterback Jalen Hurts, as he and new OC Sean Mannion continue to build their relationship. No A.J. Brown either. You got to make sure there's some receivers out here. We got to keep an eye on their health. But this offense is going to look different in many ways, right? Hurts was asked about what excites him about the new offense after practice today. Here's what he said.
You know, as you grow, as you evolve, everything kind of changes, and you got to grow with those changes. So it's been good. I like where we are. You know, I call it the time of calibrating. You know, you're kind of figuring it out, putting it together, you know, and I've kind of always played the position in a calculated way. And so I think the more I learn and the more I ingrain myself into what we're doing now, I think the better, better off we'll be and the better off we'll flow when the season comes. But, you know, there's always that onboarding period with a new coach and a new system, especially something that's new and as fresh as this.
One thing about Jalen Hurts that I'm a big fan about, one, he's a competitor and he's going to adapt to anything he needs to do. And he's going to do whatever it takes to win football games. He's coming in, he's buying in just like every single body else. And it's important when your quarterback's buying in because that's the leader of your team and we're all following him. He's buying into the system. He's doing a really good job of being coachable and he's making plays out here.
High praise from Saquon Barkley, right? As Jeremy Fowler joins us now. He was at Eagles practice today. And Jeremy, one of the offensive changes that's been reported is the desire for Hurts to play more under center. What's Hurts thinking about that transition this year?
Well, Laura, Hurts feels like he's made great strides in this new offense, particularly with his footwork. He's been honing in on the details there. He says it's all about synchronizing. When his feet are synced up with his eyes, when he's taking it from under center and dropping back, he can play freely and drive the ball. I spoke to OC Sean Mannion coming off the field. He said that footwork is one of the very first things that Hurts really dug in on and developed quickly as part of the new offense. That helped him look more at the big picture and figure out every down where the ball's supposed to go. Today, the ball went to Dontavian Wicks, who's a new receiver that the Eagles are really excited about. Hurts seems to have a good connection with him. They connected down the sideline on a deep pass today. And, with Devontae Smith being out, Mekhi Lemon out, both short-term hamstring issues, they'll be back. But for now, Wicks is really developing nicely. People around the Eagles are really excited about that player.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts dropped to 20th in that category last season. It was a big drop-off, right? He completed fewer than 65% of his passes, his lowest rate in a season since 2021, which was his first year as the starter. Hurts ran the ball at a significantly lower rate as well, finishing with a career low in rushing yards. We know that's been a key part of his game when things have been working well. And, Puck, what are you hoping to see from Hurts and this Eagles offense to show that they're in a better place than where they finished last year?
I'm looking for the most efficient Eagles offense that we've seen in some years because even though Sean Mannion is a first-year play caller, this offense, I do think is something that could help elevate Jalen. And I hate the fact that he's had to go through these resets every single season over the last few years. But I think with this offense specifically, because you'll have more under center opportunities, it should get Saquon Barkley in that outside zone, more explosive runs. You'll see that run game do a lot better than it did a year ago. And it won't be like how they called plays last season, which was line up and just win. Here's the play, go win. There didn't feel like a large strategy to it. And when this Shanahan-McVay system that Mannion runs, he's been in it as a player, and he has a deep understanding in all the variations of it. I think Jalen is going to benefit greatly. I think Mekhi Lemon, his ability to become a threat early on is going to be huge for this passing game, and Devontae Smith. But I do expect it to be the better version of the Eagles offense. And all that little detail he's talking about, I think is going to pay big dividends as the season progresses because it is truly an offense that makes bad quarterbacks look decent, decent quarterbacks good, good quarterbacks great, and great quarterbacks look like MVP candidates. And I'm hoping that it's in that latter part of that spectrum.
Well, I think that's what every Eagles fan is hoping also, because if we really want to be honest, Jalen Hurts wasn't very good last year, and we can blame it on the changing coordinators. We can blame it on a lot of different things. He's got to be better. Now, Sean Mannion comes in, and also he's going to institute that under center play action game, which Jalen Hurts talked about. The footwork is going to be paramount. We've all mentioned that. Something we haven't mentioned, Jeff Stoutland, no longer there. This team, when they're at their best, they're a running football team. Whether that's the quarterback running it, whether that's Saquon Barkley running, the offensive line is controlling the line of scrimmage. Jeff Stoutland, Hall of Fame type assistant coach, no longer there. So how are they going to cope with that? Can they still run the football? Can they control the line of scrimmage? Everybody's going to talk about Jalen Hurts, and rightfully so, because of the year he had last year. But their ability to run the football game is going to be just as paramount as it is with Jalen Hurts. And so those are two things, the quarterback and the run game, that are ultimately, Laura, going to determine whether or not this team succeeds and plays at a high level this season.
Right, guys. I mean, when you think about when this Eagles offense has been functioning well, no matter who the coordinator is, no matter what's going on, the O-line's been great. And we just told you, Adam was telling you, Lane Johnson's been out with a personal matter, so we'll keep an eye on that for sure. I wanted to show you guys this from the Eagles. Check out Saquon with his 3-year-old son, Saquon Jr. He's on the field of practice this week, getting him ready to go, right? I mean, this guy already looks better than most people, just normal people, but that's because he's not. And then how about this? We're going to see something pretty cool at the end. Seeing double makes sense. Little hurdle action here. Oh, my goodness. And that was just so normal, Hawk. Saquon, barely even saw him and still able to just completely clear him. I don't understand how this is even possible, but what do you think?
I like his son a lot better at running back than I do linebacker because that was terrible form tackling. But luckily for him, I'm taking in my class of 2044 NIL clients, and I'm willing to sign them.
Okay,
Laura.
we're going to
I'll
get
take
that
'em on.
done.